Today is Wednesday, February 18, 2004. This is a meeting of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners. 9.
Here she comes. Hello.
Good morning. I hear you just got off the phone with Scott Cave this morning, too.
Pardon?
I said, I hear you just got off the phone with Scott Cave this morning, too.
It's not the time to wait.
The radio. That consent agenda.
2 minutes still.
Taken off of
Is it? No, I wanted to mention to the board before there was a motion made that number 6, they may not have seen unless they actually read the consent agenda because it was not on the commissioner's agenda that was mailed to them.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that that was brought to your attention. There's not a lot we can do about it.
Well, what happened?
It was missed.
Well, do we still have the preliminary budgets? You know, that I just cleaned off?
You kept mine.
We kept 6.
Okay.
But what happened?
Well, you know, I don't know. I can just tell you that it was missed. And I couldn't tell you whose fault it was. You know, if fault needs to be blamed.
Well, I don't think we care about that, but I can't understand those kinds of errors.
Do you think we approved it, it just didn't get in the budget, or?
The line item was there, but no money was.
That should have been rolled over.
But yeah, my concern is, did we approve money to be in there? Or?
Of course, they can't do business without, you know, and I'm sure it was in the preliminary budget.
Well, that's two. That's 2 times now already.
I move for approval of the consent agenda.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
You know, this year when we do the budget, when the preliminaries come out, there's a suggestion that we send them out to every department.
Yes, good idea.
Another item that we think has been not included was the codification.
Mary, we don't need that.
I think we can just wait until next year and update it next year. But
Yeah, that codification is
On
That's
this
kind of
first
being-
one,
That's kind of being done after the fact.
this is done after the fact, and, you know, I think Mr. Long needs, have you talked to Mr. Long about this? Signed in a contract,
Oh, no, I haven't.
and I think, and what was Lori's comment to you?
Basically, that if they have to sign little maintenance contracts like that, I'm going to have to take it up with Rick and the sheriff.
Do it. She can do it. Okay with me.
I think the law's pretty clear that you guys are the only ones who have.
Authority to sign a contract. You know, we could refuse it and have him pay for it out of his pocket. Maybe he'd understand next time.
kind of get the message.
How about just a chastising letter?
That would be good.
Well, I mean,
I think a letter should be sent.
that would be worth. I mean, there are counties that do that.
No, well,
There
every
are
county
county
should do
commissioners
it.
that hold their department heads accountable. As far as I think, just ripshod us.
Well, I'm game. Whatever works. I don't think that
Two
we should
places
be.
there for you to sign these.
I don't think we should be hassling these little things over and over. I don't think we should be hassling these things over and over.
I don't either.
So you want that?
Nobody's giving you a break.
chastising letter?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
And don't be the nice cat, please.
I thought I never was.
Well, you are at times.
Pat
Galls
writes those
me
nasty
greatly.
letters so well.
Huh?
Pat writes those nasty
Yeah.
letters so well.
I think it comes natural for you.
Uh-oh.
You have to have
Why'd you
that.
hand that to me, Neva?
I don't know.
Give me that.
the whiteout.
Yes. After this, you hand it kind of over me. Remember how you do it? Like I taught you? My granddaughter says, do it like I taught you.
You guys have one more opportunity to join us if you need.
For what?
For that program that we gave
You know,
this
my
fall.
my theory on this is if I'm a failure, run like mad. Don't tell. Don't go there and flaunt it. I should.
We need bodies, okay?
Do you?
I'll just get- I just do it.
I can't
I'm
make
not
this
gonna
work.
pay
I'm
that
sorry.
much money for
Well,
no
you
more
know,
than
when
I get
I,
out of it.
when my heart isn't in it, that's what my thought is. Sometimes I go, you know,
I don't know, but just paying the money won't do it. Now, maybe I'm wrong.
you're right.
You're right. It taught me a lesson.
Oh, I see where I was supposed to sign on the front of it. There is a place.
I don't have my heart in it, evidently.
Well,
Well,
I don't know if it matters, but my wife told me this morning I don't look pregnant anymore.
I wonder if she thinks I look pregnant. You know, I eat when I'm frustrated, and you guys are really frustrating me, so it's all your fault. I eat when I'm not frustrated also. I eat when there's
Actually,
extra
they say
food.
stress makes obese people. So you guys are stressing the maximum.
Yeah. It's all you guys' fault. Nope, I just don't get enough exercise. That's my problem.
If you ladies want to sign up again, I'll speak to the head of the.
You'll pay
Do you
for it?
want to pay
Okay.
for it? Okay.
No,
Thanks,
I didn't-
Frank.
I didn't want to
Oh,
say
thanks,
that.
Sweet of
Frank.
you.
And see if they'll give you special consideration.
I like the camaraderie, but it's more signing up the second time than it was the first time, wasn't it? The same amount? I should think they should have to be punished for their failures, and they should let us in free.
No, I've got the books and I know what to do. It's just doing it, and I don't think anything they're going to give me this next session is going to help me anymore.
I like them. I like them. And I don't call it a diet, but you know, I like the system that they have, really.
I like the accountability.
Well, I don't think that it's enough.
What's in it?
The food.
Oh, I
get enough food.
had a heck of a time eating it all.
Are you eating the soup?
6 times a day.
Huh?
Are you eating the soup?
What soup?
Mhm.
What
Yeah,
soup?
the wages don't get so
The soup you
You
make.
know, if you get the hungry,
Oh, God, how long can you live on that?
you skip 2 meals, you know, and go, "God, tonight you're gonna,
I know.
it's not to get missing, you know. That's why your snacks are good.
Yep, 6 times a day, that's for sure.
But again, I will certainly be happy to.
You gotta
convene
prepare all this
like
stuff. I don't have
yeah.
time to do those things.
Hey,
Like,
I'll tell you a good recipe.
what's that?
Take chicken breasts and marinate them in margarita mix.
Wow.
It makes the best lemon chicken.
Really?
Barbecue it up and however boil it. Oh, it is so tasty. Yeah, I went to Chili's and I
And then
ordered
break the
that.
mix, right?
Well, you don't put the tequila in there.
Oh, actually, you forget to put the margarita mix in there.
But that is really good.
What is this thing for that breakfast for that Lord's Foundation?
211.
Huh?
Is that the 211? Oh, you're on something else.
The 11th,
John Gill.
March 11th at 7:30.
I won't be here.
What is it for Lord's? Did they come in and talk to us?
Called and he was saying that they just want to, have, community leaders
Participation.
themselves come to this, so they can just inform you of what's going on, what they're providing for the community.
What day am I coming back, Pat?
They called me and I said they really need to get a hold of you.
I won't be here the 11th. I'll come back on the 11th.
How about you, Mr. Brock? Interested in free breakfast?
You know, most people are.
He won't go because of his diet. He has a cook that cooks just what he's supposed to have.
Well, I'm planning on going to it. It's not for the breakfast, it's just that they want.
Would you call
Let
them
them know
and tell
that
them I'm
you're-
out of
Well,
town?
would you kind of represent us then?
That both of
'Cause-
us are out of town.
And that Mr. Brock doesn't seem interested. He just chuckles. Could you tell him that too, Pat? I don't know if I can do that. But I'll try.
Mr. Brock and myself have worked it out breakfast.
Okay, I pick your brain in a little bit,
Why do you have to pick his brain about it?
because I
Rick?
don't think I have anything written down on who's doing what to whom.
Here.
All right?
That's the date, the man's name and the phone number.
If you could just confirm, I believe it's over here at the hospital, but if you want to just confirm that.
Because there's another place. Oh, well. Never mind. My meth action team meeting was quite interesting.
The what?
The meth action team. I guess they had a guy come into drug court. The police came into drug court, and I think it was for a juvenile, but it may have been adult. Arrested a guy when he was in there in the court because he had been a pusher and he was in recovery. And, you know, they were trying to recover him, and he saw a good thing. You know, here's all these guys that use drugs, and so here I am, like in heaven. And he was trying to sell drugs to him, and the police came in right in front of everybody and arrested him, and word really went around. So
Was
we got,
he in the audience?
I don't know if it was,
He
it
must-
sounded to me like he was up in front of the judge, but maybe not. He was in the audience, and they were having the court. And so they said, now they got a kid that used to sell marijuana, and he's just scared to death. He just thinks Metro's going to be right outside his door every time he opens the door. So she said, I think he's not going to be trying to sell anybody anything. Good morning, doctor.
I got that. That's
This is it. Well, except for all my
a
questions.
terrible job.
But think about it, Frank. Next year you'll get to sign double these.
You're better signing that better. Or making that.
Goodness. Have some. Okay. Mr. Brock is going to be taking a letter over to Lori Savage, and we need to confirm who will be attending on March, what is it, March 4th.
Is that?
The Real Heroes Breakfast.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should all be going.
My wife and I'll probably do that.
Okay. Eva,
I don't think so.
Sue,
March 4th. Wait a minute. I'm not here. Oh, March
there
4th.
you are.
March 4th. I leave the 6th, 5th.
Yes. The 6th. of-
No, I leave the 5th because that's the only time I can use those free tickets. Um,
And should you also invite Matt to
yeah.
come with you?
Yeah. Okay. Me and Matt. Matt, the survivor. The person she saved. Would you ask me so I don't forget?
Mhm.
In Mass case, when they got this breakfast.
So is the county going to pay that then, or you?
That's what
Okay. So you want me just to get $10 out of,
$20.
and $20 out of the, what do you call it? Petty cash? Is that?
Petty cash.
Petty cash, thank you, couldn't think of the word.
We've got one other thing on the regular agenda about the
Well, couldn't you put a voucher in for it?
Yeah.
For the 3 of them? Frank, Sue, and Matt?
Sure.
You got on the regular agenda that 211 Human Service Non-Emergency Needs Meeting on the 27th.
Yep, I've got that right here. And it's going to be at least a 4-month commitment.
What's this on?
Oh, that's for to be on the little task force or whatever you call it.
On the regular agenda.
On that 211 thing, that meeting, Mrs. Miller, if we're in the coast on the 26th, there's a good chance we can be back.
Why do you think they'll throw us in jail immediately? Yeah, there is a good chance we won't be back. So I guess we can say we'll go if I'll go if I'm there.
Okay.
All right. So bad.
Is it something that you want other people to go to, like 911 people, or?
It's a
No,
different
this is
thing,
different.
totally different thing. 2-1. It's a clearinghouse for.
Information is what it is.
Okay. Is anybody going to be going to the 46th annual United Way meeting?
When is that?
It's February 24th, next week, next Tuesday. There's a 6 o'clock p.m. NoHo social and a 6:30 dinner.
No.
I
You
don't
need to-
believe so. But I want to go to the emergency management thing in Colfax the next day. First, would you call John and ask him if he, it says on there that, it doesn't say commissioners, but county leaders or whatever, but one of us should go to that, just tells you the responsibilities.
That you need to put in, there is going to be a rural issues committee. I don't know if you need explanations on the federal appropriation letters that Scott Cave did up or not, or if you want to wait until
They're
Paul
coming
comes
in.
in.
Paul Stoker's coming
Okay,
in.
I'm just going to leave these off here. They're ready for your signature when he explains it.
And it looked like a book, but I don't think they're going to change it. It's too long. But,
Probably has all the necessary
yeah.
documentation.
and They have done attachments, he said, in the past, but anyhow, Paul's going to come in and explain it.
Pat, I didn't call Wilma last night, the lady that I might stay with in Olympia, and I think she must sleep till later in the morning on account of she stays up all night, even if she is 90 years old. So I will call her today.
Okay. And there's a letter here addressed to Pioneer Hybrid International. Bridget did this up yesterday. I guess she got a phone call, and it just says the Franklin County Board of Commissioners has been informed that Franklin County Fire District Number 4 is applying for a grant. Franklin County Fire District Number 4 is a nonprofit organization. Therefore, we support their efforts in applying for this grant. So I need a motion to send that to
I
them.
move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
And Thursday, Frank is not available to attend this, but this is sent out to Neva and Frank, and I didn't know if he wanted to sign up for Friday, February 27th, for the Freight System Focus Group.
No, I don't, Pat.
That again is the same thing, isn't it, Frank? We might not be here.
Yeah.
Okay. And in order to continue getting a free subscription to the Parks and Rec Trades, we need to have you sign this and I'll mail it in.
Is that everything?
Well,
We're
I know, going over.
That's something you seldom have done, Pat. It must
That's-
be the.
We don't have to make a decision on this right now.
Okay.
clear
Food for
in
thought. Well, I'm going to give you this for food for thought, and when you can mark it up and tell me what you want for your meals and so forth, you give it back to me. I'll be glad to get in touch with the original back. And with that, I thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, thank you for that, Matt.
There's only 6 items.
Okay, doctor.
Morning, Larry.
Morning, how are you?
Well, are we going to have a meeting?
Well, if the chair will go along with me, we're going to cancel the next Board of Health meeting.
Okay, all right with me.
The main agenda, we had to switch it to March. It was the solid waste hearing.
Oh, okay.
And the meeting was scheduled for,
Next Thursday, 26th.
It's
Yeah.
canceled.
yeah, I couldn't make it, no, Alderman couldn't make it.
Well, it's a good thing I canceled. Tom Moak can't make it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, So, okay, well,
All right.
that makes that decision even better.
All right.
But, you know, if we don't have a lot of
Yeah,
official
it's-
things, there's no sense just having a meeting to have
Have
a
a
meeting.
meeting.
you know.
Just have another meeting.
That's
As
what I
long as the
figure.
vouchers can get paid.
Yeah, they will. They, you know, the last time, remember, we had 3 months worth.
Yeah.
It just have to take.
Skip a month of pay. Those guys won't object.
They won't object.
Yeah, right.
Sure easier to balance the budget, isn't it?
That's right. Whatever court cut you can make. you
That's
know?
right. That's right. So, okay, with that, then we will have the March meeting, and it'll probably be pretty full because we will have a public hearing. You know, whether anyone will come or not.
I had meetings yesterday, so I didn't get your page in time
That's all
to
right.
call you yesterday.
Well,
And
I figured you'd go, and I see you this morning, so I wasn't
Yeah.
too worried. Just send out the letters then today. Not a whole lot. I want to let you know that we did get the targeted intensive case management program that we've had here for the last 3 years. It's been very effective, but the funding has always been up in the air, and we didn't dream we were going to get funded. And guess what?
You got it.
We
It's
funded
got a
for another
different
year.
name this year.
Yeah, they call it something else, don't they? Yeah, Sandy's called. But anyway,
That's
it is
great.
funded. So we're going to gear that up. You know, we were gearing to just kind of let that
Phase it out.
because we had some people that had quit, and we didn't want to hire people and then let them go in 2 months and 3 months.
Yeah, that's awful.
And, you know, and Sharon, the head of it, or supervisor, we didn't want to because we didn't know the stability of it. She retired, and so now we're going to gear back up. And in fact, Sandy's over there now with a big meeting and doing that. So that's Mosquito. Got to be starting to think of that. You know, the next meeting is I guess March 11th or whatever.
Yeah, they got a man hired now.
I heard that. Rick told me, and you're really lucky to get someone with experience like
Yeah,
that.
they seem real pleased. I haven't met him, they seem real
Yeah.
pleased. And I saw his letter of acceptance was in.
Yeah.
Do you
And
go
he
to
said-
those meetings, Frank?
No.
The Mosquito?
He goes to the commission. He goes to our committee,
Committee meeting.
West Nile meeting.
Oh, the West now, but not the actual.
I know
I
it's
see.
important that we divorce ourselves.
Yeah.
And I stopped going for once they got formed.
Yeah, it's fine. So yeah, Rick is real excited about having him on board. So.
That's good. That committee has been a real dedicated group.
Yeah, are they still?
You bet. You bet. And I
Yeah.
take my hat off to Rick.
Yeah.
We're fortunate to have him
Yeah,
as involved in that. But all of them are interested in it too.
yeah. So anyway, it'll be nice to get everyone back together in March.
I know my friend Dick
West
Britton
Office.
is sure enjoying it.
He likes that, doesn't he? He's such a nice guy. He really enjoys that, yeah.
Well, and it, you know, he's been retired. It gives him something to think about and do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the kind of people that.
And use his expertise on.
Every time I see him, he wants to talk about that mosquito district.
Well, I think we'll be very fortunate this year to have it. I'm glad we were
You know,
we
and I
didn't have
didn't
it
think
last
of
year.
him. And Dave's the one that said, well, what about your friend Bonnie's husband, Dick?
So.
He's glad to be on.
Another big thing that's going on in the area is an HCAP grant that the Alliance is working on. This is a community grant that we have the Session Medical Group, which Our Lady of Lourdes is under, sponsoring us kind of for this thing, and they're helping us out. They're sending people out from St. Louis to help us write this grant up. I mean, it's up to $1 million grant. So it's very. So we've been meeting every week with that kind of. I think we have to have it in by April. So this would really help some of the access problems we're having in our community. So hopefully we can get everyone together. And
Is that
on board.
a free clinic or whatever it is at the Methodist Church still going?
Oh, it's growing stronger than ever. Yes, in fact, we're going to be probably between La Clinica and the Grace Clinic will be the major players in access in this thing.
Is it true that there's some people from Oregon coming to that,
What?
to Grace Clinic?
Could
I
be.
think it said it in the paper. I thought I read it in the paper.
Yeah.
Well, and they have like used clothing and things there, or food or something.
Yeah,
I
they
read.
have. They have. It's
It's
kind of
small
taking
amount.
care of the whole person, not just the medical needs,
Yeah.
but other needs, the social needs too, and getting them plugged in to everything. So it's been very, very popular. So hopefully, They had to even quit taking new patients for a while because they were inundated. And so now they're back to taking some new patients. But hopefully this will grow. They've had good
I
luck.
know there were some volunteers from our church that helped.
Well, I think, there's several ways you can go about trying to get, physicians to volunteer. And with this grant, you could go out and have them set aside, go to each physician and do it that way. But we think that we should probably use what we have, use the Grace Clinic model. Physicians like to go there. They like to volunteer there. And so we'll probably use that model in this clinic. Hopefully we can get the use of the emergency rooms down. That's just killing the hospital.
What happened to the Smile?
Oh, for
Tip
dental
program.
thing,
Yeah.
They went bankrupt.
Now, was that
And they pulled out.
anything to do with that little Smile-mobile?
No, Smilemobile's separate. No, that's
Okay.
separate. That'll be
Well,
coming
that's
in.
what confused
But
me.
this was a very needed. I mean, they were taking care of that real needy part of the
Well,
community.
it's
We're
an excellent
working
program.
excellent
Yeah.
program, and we're going to suffer. Now we are working with them. We're trying to see if we can't get the equipment and get someone else. We've had someone volunteer to come and set that up. They'd be a private person, but I don't care how they do it as
No,
long as
just
we
so
get
that.
it. So yes, we are working to try to get that service back
More.
because
That was
it's
too bad.
unreal. And La Clinic is stepping in to open theirs up to more kids now, so that's going to help us. And we had a great dental day, last Saturday, not this last Saturday, a week ago Saturday, and they saw 110 kids.
A regular place like that is so important to kids,
Yeah.
They're the only ones seeing Medicaid. I mean, we've got the ABCD program, but I mean, they're really, they're the only ones seeing Medicaid, and theirs was 100% Medicaid.
What did our board support ABC?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because Spence talked to me later and said, well, we just wanted the support. We think financially we could support it.
Well,
Maybe
they're
they'll-
working on it.
Maybe they'll step up to the plate.
Who thinks?
Spence.
Yeah.
No, who
Hopefully
thinks?
we're not.
Where they want the money from? Where's he want the money
Well, we get
from the health department?
There's
Well,
some from
we,
the health department.
We are subsidizing it somewhat, not to a big degree, but what we did was, because they don't have the money up front, we kind of guaranteed them that we would continue to have that program. Because it'd go away if we didn't do that. So, and that's an important program. Now with Smile Savers, it's even more important. Going out of business.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Yeah.
It's really
It
sad.
really is.
Because those kids are just not going to look at it.
No, they
Well,
aren't. No, they aren't. And,
and
it's
to
one of
me,
the most serious
health
health
problems
problems there is.
Oh, yeah.
Because
in our
they can't.
kids anyway, and they probably lose more school from that than a lot of things.
I've seen kids with every tooth in their mouth
Yes.
with decay in it.
Oh, I know it. It's terrible. It's terrible. There's just no programs, and we're short of dentists, we're short of hygienists, and so it makes it even worse.
They didn't used to have, and it's probably worse now.
So the Alliance, the Oral Coalition, is working on that and trying to get that. So hopefully they'll do that. The medical CME is this Friday, and in conjunction with that, tort reform is really high on the Medical Society list this year. I
Well,
don't
it
know how we're
sounds
gonna
like
do
they got it out of committee.
Well, I hope so.
Some.
I don't know.
They've been struggling.
But
think
Bill
they
Grant
asked for it.
has agreed to come and go on the firing squad this Friday against with the physicians. So we'll probably have a big turnout with him this Friday. So he's the majority caucus leader, and so he.
Well, Bill's a good man, but that's one of the most important things that they have to look at.
I know it. So he was. So he did. And I'll be on a panel. Kim Bradford, the editorial staff, will be on the panel, and some of the physicians from each of the hospitals.
Kim
will
was
be on
going
the
to be
panel.
on the
No, where is that? Where you
It'll be
doing
at the
that?
Red Lion. It'll be for physicians only.
Yeah.
But that's still, I think, it's nice that he could come through. So that's going to be important. But it's important because we're going to see more and more physicians leaving.
But other states, how many states have tort?
We're one of four.
We're one of four that doesn't have it.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord, That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, and they are. I mean, it's. I know.
It's ridiculous.
I
It
know.
is just
I know. OBGYN doctors. It went up. Their insurance went up 20,000. You know, you think the couples are like 20,000, and they're getting less each year for what they do, and you know, all other expenses keep going up. Electricity.
It's kind of like our liability insurance.
So it's forcing them out.
Property.
In fact,
I mean-
I think even Walla might lose a neurosurgeon if something doesn't
But there's
happen.
got to be a cap on this thing. You
Yeah.
cannot make people multi-billionaires.
That's right.
Well, their families, I mean, they maybe have already.
Deceased, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So the only other thing, building committee, we're going to get going on that because we really need to start looking in long range and see what we're going to do with all of our buildings, not just Richland. So I had the great idea that we were going to have the building committee since we canceled the Board of Health, but Tom works down. He's our chair of that
Yeah.
committee, so we'll do it. We'll try to get one before the board meeting in March.
Okay.
And I don't know who are you on the building committee? Or, I can't remember.
I am.
You are.
No, I'm on the building.
Yeah,
No.
Frank-
Yes,
Okay.
I'm on the
You're on the
Frank
building. Okay.
Steen the other night when I
You're on the budget committee.
Yeah.
On the building committee.
But you're chair of the board, so
Maybe
you
you're on
come.
both committees.
So,
So
Yeah,
you
I
have
think
to-
I-
so you usually come to committee. So and that's all I have. Any questions or anything you want to discuss?
Did we get skate through the flu season okay? Pretty much?
Yep. And we didn't get another strain, so
No more Delaware bird flu?
you know that's kind of died down. Kind of died down a little bit, so I don't know. I don't know really more about that. You know, that wasn't the one that spreads to human. The ones that we're worried about, it's over in Asia.
Yeah, but when you get it, regardless, you know, they worry about some kind of a spread.
Oh yeah, because it can shift. Yeah, it can shift. So, but it's devastating to the poultry industry. Gee, can you imagine?
Well, our poultry and our.
Because you know it's on the margin anyway. A lot of that stuff. I got a brother that's a farmer, and I know it's a very. And boy, you know, you got these poor people. I really feel sorry for these, like the mad cow and destroying the herds.
Except I guess they're getting paid for.
Yeah, they're getting.
for
Are they getting
The
reimbursed?
thing of it is, though, when they do get paid, yeah, they'll pay them for, but they don't get a chance to rotate in a regular manner.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
ruins their whole program.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
ruins the program, and even though they pay them for market, they still lose.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like
And you
anything.
you kind
You
of
get
sold
some
them.
reimbursement, but it's not total.
No,
You sort of sold them whenever. I mean, it wasn't your choice. You know.
it's like in this cattle, this up here in the Yakima Valley, where that guy had those calves killed. Well, he got his money for them,
Mm-hmm.
but he had those cattle graduated, so they were coming off the market at a
Yeah.
specific time.
That's right. That's right.
Gotta get back in.
Yeah, we're gonna make some economic reforms.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for coming.
On the agenda today.
We can't find any excuse not to let you in.
Good morning.
We have our first month billing report for January
We can't make
2004.
any more papers because you don't have any office supplies in your budget.
I noticed that when
And we did that on purpose.
Why didn't
so
you notice
wouldn't-
that before the hearing?
because it was in there when we proposed. I mean, it was carryover,
What?
and it was in there. It was in my worksheet.
It was a Fred's fault.
Just wasn't in
No.
the final printout.
I'm just tired of your excuses.
But I sure noticed it when we submitted the bill, and Tom said you don't have anybody
Fred's
to
kind of
pay.
acting. Fred's kind of going around telling people he's tired of their excuses these
Fred will
days.
handle it.
We just been stealing the paper from Libby. So.
From who?
Libby. Oh, goody, we can call her on the carpet too.
Yeah, I do like these reports, though.
They're very nice.
Yeah, I enjoy listening to
And then this, what I'm handing out now, is our year-to-date. Pardon?
this. The brag sheet.
Yeah, the brag sheet. The year-to-date brag sheet for permit revenue. And if you're looking at the permit revenue at this point, we're starting to pick up. You know, I think that we had a slow beginning of January with that cold weather and the snow, and we're starting to pick right back up. And you know, I think we're gonna be just fine. Haven't seen a slowdown.
Some guy was telling me that they're going to build 30,000 homes. You know, when you go out of Kennewick and on over in that corner, 30,000 homes will go in there. So, Well, when you leave Kennewick and kind of where South Ridge is and out there, kind of on back towards Richland.
Wow.
Yeah.
30,000 homes.
30,000.
That's what he said. I said, that's a lot. I said, they may build them, but I hope those people come.
Full build out at, the average family size, that's over 100,000
Well, he
people.
wasn't anybody of authority. He was a person that has a business out there. So, maybe he's...
You gotta have something to justify bringing people.
Oh, my gosh. It's a lot of houses. A lot of hammering.
The billing report for January, there's not much to it, but I do, in February, we've noticed, we've had discussions in the past on these billing reports about the size and price of these homes, and we're still seeing the more custom, more expensive, bigger homes in the county than in the city at this point because of the...
Terray Court and Jaylene Way.
Terray Court is Dennis Ziegler's new subdivision they did off of Road 76. North of Court 76, just off to the right as you're going north on Court. It's just a little 6-lot subdivision with a cul-de-sac. If you go north on 76, off of Court, on the east side of 76.
Oh, it's off of Court. You can't see it from Court.
No, you
have to
can't
go
see it
up.
from Court. You have to go up 76. Nice little cul-de-sac. I apologize.
Well, you can when you make that S turn.
Yeah, near 84 there.
You can make a little bit of a turn.
But the road names have been real interesting lately on our subdivisions. We have Douglas Addition, which is on 44 and up north of Livingston. That road in there is called Dougville. Then we have Terray Court, Ricky Road, Jaylene Way, and these road names.
Where do they get those?
Any
Kids
McPherson
in
roads out there?
only in Richland.
Only in the rest.
Only in Richland. But I think a lot of them, E911 gives them the opportunity to name their roads as long as they don't conflict with anything. So they get real interesting. But yeah, in February I've seen a lot of new homes come across my desk that rather large and rather pricey, and they're continuing to come.
I looked at this ag shop that Tom Malden was building out there. What's he doing now? 46,000.
Ag shop.
Yeah, I just read it too.
That's more than just normal.
Who was building it?
Tom Molden. It's on the bottom of non-residential buildings, number 4. Yeah, that'd be about a 4,000 square foot building. Whole building, probably.
It'll probably be his garage shop, and then Carla will have her shop in there.
Probably.
What kind of shop's Carla in there?
She does all kinds of.
Was that where they all?
Probably their
still-
craft
They haven't
room.
moved, have they? They still
Not
live where they
yet.
did.
Well, they put that
Well,
down
man,
the
they
front.
had a lot of buildings out there the way it was, didn't they? They had
Yeah,
one
but they're
pretty
going to
good
sell
size.
that.
Oh, so it's not where they live.
It's next door.
Yeah, just based on the
And
value,
then
it's about.
Vern Malden is going to have a section of the house, and his shop will be there too.
In this spot.
Yeah, because he's real
Obvious.
obvious.
If you look on the second page of the report for residential garages and carports, you'll see 2 residential garages in there from Mahalo Homes.
I saw that.
You'll see a lot of those because at the new Butter Creek Estates, which is off of Road 68 there on the east side, with a white vinyl fence
Oh, yeah.
between Argent and Court, those are going in as home shop packages. So Mahalo Homes, they're being sold that way. So every home that is in there will have a matching
Shop?
to go with it.
Oh.
So you'll see a lot of the
Shop or garage?
shop garage combo,
Yeah, boy, that's nice.
and they're pole buildings.
Are they a separate structure?
Yeah, they're detached. They're building site-built
Do
homes.
they have a attached garage to their
They
houses
do.
too?
In addition. And these shops that they're building are pole structures, but they have a little bit steeper pitch on them, and they're matching the color combination of the homes and whatnot, and they're actually turning out
Why
real
would
nice.
they have a difference between the 7,200 and 12,000?
Because they have different, you can
Styles.
choose bigger, smaller, or you know, you can have it finished or unfinished. So this something to, if you know you see a pattern there, that's what that is. The Mahalo homes.
You know,
I think they've. I'm sorry, to interrupt. I think they hit a real niche there because they're already getting started on phase 2 and doing the remainder of their.
So the month of January, we took in for the county $9,300.
Correct.
I mean, that's to us, that's pretty good
Correct.
for January.
Yeah, for January and February, I'm anticipating.
More.
Yeah, we're gonna February alone will be at least 20,000, and then I anticipate every month from here on out will be at least 20,000.
Yeah, 68, what is that street that you're out there with the new homes going in?
We're
On Warnett, and going the other way on Warnett, that guy that we debated on putting in the other building next to his house and connecting the one that owns the trailer park out there, or the RV park.
Milo Schmidt.
Boy, he's immaculate on that.
He really is. He
He
takes.
did a nice job of putting that in.
He did. He sure did. And you know, and that is actually.
Enhanced the neighborhood.
Yeah, that is actually that attached garage
Yeah.
with the breezeway. That is actually a pole building that he had conventional roof trusses, and then the lap siding.
On a double or triple wide.
Yeah, on a triple wide, and so it's an interesting combination. You have a manufactured home with an attached site-built breezeway attaching to a pole building that is, looks from appearance on the outside as site-built. So it really flows nicely together.
Those stipulations on double wides going in, having them required to have a garage or something in an area that can possibly be done, will make it so much nicer.
Yeah, and we've looked at that in the past. Like Douglas County requires all. They struggled with the, requiring manufactured homes to do it versus site-built homes. So they require, at a minimum, all homes, whether they're
They do
site-built.
up on the hill too.
What?
I didn't realize there were any manufactured homes. I call it Bosch Hill, but above
Oh, I
the
know
road
what you're talking
24.
Oh, okay.
And they said, "Oh yeah, there's manufactured home. They just have to have a attached garage.
That makes them look so much better.
Makes them look like
Oh, yeah.
stick
And it's so much more
homes.
convenient.
And in Douglas County, to stay away from the, discrimination thing, fairness, they say whether you're site-built or manufactured home, you have to have at a minimum a one-car garage. It gives people a place to store their stuff instead of just scattering it around the yard.
You bet.
So
Well, that's a good requirement.
anyway, that's all I had for the building side. I did want to mention we had our planning commission hearing first Tuesday in February. One of the items on the agenda was a dog kennel out off of Orchard Road, which is it runs north-south off of Alder, which is off of Glade. And the neighbors appealed that application, so that'll come to a closed record hearing to the to the Board of Commissioners. It's a 5-acre tract. They have.
If it'd be anything like the Sage North, it would be wonderful.
It's
And there's a real need because you can't get into Sage North.
they're asking for quite a bit. They want to put up an 8,000 square foot building on a 5-acre tract. And they want to have 20 personal dogs for breeding purposes, basset hounds, and then they want to have,
Oh, to be their neighbor.
and then they want to have 50 commercial boarding in the large building. They had requested 100. The planning commission approved them 50, and the 20 of the neighbors have appealed the application. So that's going to be a touchy.
What's the date going to be? They're going to be.
To be determined.
What? Where's
No, it's-
Orchard? Where's Orchard again?
It's
You got Glade.
got Glade to
Well, I've seen it.
The Alder and it's
Okay.
Didn't we have some problems with roads out there
Is
with
that where the?
It was
McKinley?
Fox Development.
Fox, yeah.
Kenny Fox's development.
But I can meet with you individually and go
Yeah,
over
Mr.
the
Fox
Yeah.
didn't
information.
want to pay.
What is the date, though? I need to know on that.
I think it's
Good job
March
if you can get
1st.
it. It's what?
Thank you.
March 1st. But it was a pretty contentious planning commission meeting. There was a lot of people there, so it should be interesting. But I will provide you with all of the information prior to the hearing.
We'll count on it.
So, thank you.
And the planning commission's recommendation.
They recommended approval, but they cut the dog limits in half. Basically, they asked for 100, and they.
Man, I wouldn't want to have a breeding setup and then have dogs coming in all the time. You get some sort of a disease or something. You have your own dog.
They want an 8,000 square foot, 2-story building, 8,000 square foot footprint, so 16,000 square foot building to do indoor training, grooming.
Dogs have
boarding,
sleep upstairs.
and
In the loft.
Yes. Have their little TV set up there.
Well,
That's
But I'll
fabulous.
provide
I
you with
mean,
some information on that.
Thanks, sir.
okay.
I move the approval of the vouchers for county road, motor vehicle and public works, solid waste, and probation work crew as specified.
I'll second the motion.
all in favor?
Usually you get.
I know, and I was looking hurt here, but you didn't look up. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you.
Jared, isn't that his name?
I do have to let you know, I have 3 blinds up there.
Oh, I drove by and peeked in the windows, and I didn't see any blinds. You must have had them open. You're supposed to close them.
They're in the master bedroom. So
Oh, I see.
we have 3 blinds there.
Good deal.
The neighbors gave you?
You got a good deal on it.
I don't have any blinds in my house.
I do.
You don't have any blinds? Nothing over your windows at all?
Well, I got curtains,
Well,
but, you know, they're just balances.
I have blinds and no curtains. That's the way it's going to stay, too. Because I'm cool. And lazy.
My living room has got blinds, but
We did a traffic study on Burnett for Hector, and he has a speed problem, no doubt about it. The 85th percentile speed is 39 miles an hour. That's a 25 mile an hour road. We do have 39, which is usually what you set for your speed limitation on 85th percentile. But with the width of the road and stuff, there 25 is definitely
Can you
adequate.
make that study by putting that tape out or that?
We put the hoses out on the counter. We had some. We actually had some speeds above 50, approaching 60. We've given the information to Kevin Curley, and there's specific times when this is occurring, and he's going to start enforcing out there.
did you
and
let
make a
Hector
presence.
know that?
No, I have not yet. In fact, I don't know that I have his phone number.
I think I have his phone number.
Do you want me to do that, or you want to do it?
I can
or-
call him. For sure.
By now, he's probably already seen some officers.
But so it kind of puts...
This information has been given to Kevin Curran, and went over it with him so he can read it. And he was going to have a staff meeting, and it was going to become
Priority.
a priority for him to start targeting. Because he knew exactly what we were talking about. It's not safe to go to that speed. We're going to, he's right, we're going to have we've looked at our accident history. There isn't any, but we're going to have something major happen if they're
Tickets out there
continuing.
pretty hefty. And
Yeah, word will get around.
You're not kidding.
But they're going to have a presence out there for a while, you know. Hopefully they'll. As far as the 50s and 60s, I think it's happening between 2 and 4 in the afternoon. So I think there's some kids involved with it.
Yeah, that kind of speed it would be.
Nine has yet to talk to the school, but being they're a private school, they probably aren't involved in any kind of transportation at all. And
Oh,
But
yeah,
they
they
should
got those big whites.
no, I mean for school, for their school. They do for their church.
But it sure would
But
seem
he's
to
gonna
me they'd
talk
be
to them.
very concerned because...
Yeah, but I don't think they have any walkers.
Oh,
I think that they're all being dropped off. But we'll find out.
good job, Tim.
Yeah. Thanks for doing that.
So,
And you guys doubted Hector.
I know you
I didn't doubt Hector. I know that
The road conditions.
people are very poor judges of speed on
Yeah.
in the front yard.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to see what the magnitude was. I'm not saying they weren't speeding. I just, he was. Well, you heard him say 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That'll probably be okay.
Uh-huh.
I said, I'm not talking about those. And
Yeah,
he's
he
right.
said.
He's not.
Mhm.
So,
See?
I mean, we only had overall for the whole thing.
one or two cars driving the speed limit.
Yeah. Let's just raise the speed limit.
You had 15% compliance. 25.
15?
Now, so we have a different problem in our neighborhood.
Oh, my God.
We have a different problem in our neighborhood. The neighbors have been driving by and it says "Go Chad," and I don't know what school it is, but their whole cars,
You have
windows are written, and it's driving my husband.
You have 48% within a 30 mile an hour, which is the 5 over that they usually give them anyway. So that half
It's
the
been
people
there
are
since,
doing
Fairly
great.
close.
Very close.
Oh, months. But that's our car.
But that's the majority are going from 30 to, well, I shouldn't say, the majority are going between 25 and 30 miles an hour, which is what he said he could live with.
Mm-hmm. But those speeds up that high, they need to get a clue.
We had 1% that were driving between 50 and 55.
I'm 65.
We had 1%
No,
that
50
was,
and 55, I think he said.
yeah,
Didn't
50
you?
and 55.
Okay.
And we had 1% was driving between 45 and 50. 5% are driving between 40 and 45. And 15% between 35 and 40. And 29% between 30 and 45. You can see there's
35,
quite
40 is pretty fast on that street.
for as wide as it is, and it's kind of a hole there. You can't really see them coming, too. So,
Crack down on them speeders.
and then I was going through Lost Acts issue papers, and here's one that I think I don't know if you want to go further with it, but to me it was kind of blatantly written for Pasco Sanitary Landfill by the Department of Ecology for the state, wanting to get out of their any potential liability from the obligations they made to us in the 70s. Then I think
Is that now?
this one's being proposed right now. Yeah.
This is the bill that's being submitted.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we need to.
Lost Act's recommendation is to pose it, but I think that it might be worthy of you to contact
Well,
your
we better
senator.
call.
Yeah, we definitely,
better
because we have a
fax.
personal.
Let's fax.
In fact, I'm going to all the legislators here, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know how much Darren wants
I wonder
you
if
to
they're
say
gonna have
about what we got
hearings.
going on there, but I know.
Darren isn't around.
Yeah, he's back.
Oh, is he?
He was back yesterday.
But you can. How much of an example you want to give him?
Well, you might want somebody to go over to a hearing and testify.
Because this is nonsense. Well, like I said, it exempts the state from it, but doesn't exempt us from anything. So, well, appearance of fairness, there isn't any.
The legislature declares that it does not intend to provide state funding to local governments.
But it's not providing it to us.
Well, it would.
Anyway, I
Wouldn't
think
it
it's
be
something
taking their
that probably deserves your
responsibility?
attention.
Or would it?
Pardon?
Deserves your attention, one way or another.
Wow.
I thought it was very. When I saw it, I go, whoa. That was written for Pasco Sanitary Landfill. In my mind.
It's interesting as to who proposed. I wonder who presented that.
The state, however, is bound by no such prohibition in relation to zoning.
Local
For
government.
recovery of costs of remaining.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, let's pass that. There's a good one.
some legislator out of some county that doesn't have a cleanup site.
They don't care, yeah, no big deal, no big deal. This saves the state some money, that helps their budget, that's
Alexi, who made the proposal on that.
Well,
We can find it out.
Just say we oppose. Just say section 718. Sure.
But I think, a personal experience sometimes before
Helps
them.
drive the story.
Yeah.
home,
Yeah.
That's all I have. Progress on our construction project. We've shut down East Foster Wells because of the rain we've gotten. Subgrade has gotten super saturated, so it's soft. And the truck's running over it and then working it. It's making it real soft. So we shut it down until it dries out a little bit or stops raining. The press lock bridge replacement in the culvert is going strong. We've deferred the other project, Fur Road, until the fall because we're concerned about making the March 1st deadline as far as getting the headwinds in the canal and everything. So we'll do that part of it in the fall. Everything else is going fine.
How's this going?
They got the culvert in already. They're starting to pour the head walls in the transition for it now. And they got sold across, so you can get across now.
Well, they can't get across. They're not skirting around thin anymore.
Well, we still have it closed because they're working it. But
Yeah.
if somebody needed to get across, we
They
could
can
get
get
across.
across.
You can drive across. And then we have consultant selection for tomorrow for the Road 100 campaign. We're starting that and start negotiating the price. Bring that contract next year when we get that done.
What do we anticipate that's going to cost us?
We have 50,000 set up, and that's kind of one of the questions we're going to ask them. Because you can't talk money at the thing, but you can tell them what you got budgeted, and they can see what they say. Besides, that's all we got. And we can't do it. We don't want you. So that's part of the negotiation process.
In the first phase of that, we'll look at putting that in. Have the state in there.
We're gonna do a needs analysis, and you're gonna, like we did out here, and you're gonna sign off, yeah, we need to do this project. And then after that's done, they will go through a number of analysis on different locations, how much you can move that.
This project is more important now than when we started talking about it, much more. Because of the way they bottleneck on 68.
Right, and even getting started now, it's going to be 2 or 3 years down the road before we actually get it built. So.
And if something's not done in 68, that's going to be at quitting time.
And depending on right away, it could even take longer depending on how cooperative those people are.
But it's important that they go forward.
But that's the process, and then they'll, based upon the environmental and all that other stuff, we'll determine the best route and make that final selection.
But the initial thinking is to go to Dan on this first phase.
Initial thinking is no, we're going to go all the way. It doesn't. Its value is going all
Well,
the way
no,
up.
but yeah, we can go all the way if we can. But I mean, as far as getting the funding,
Funding wise, we're going to get it funded all the way. We're going to go after RAP, and we're just going to get the whole thing.
you think the whole thing could be funded in one fell swoop?
That's the way to do it. Because once you get a project selected, they keep each biennium they keep funding it until it's fully funded. So we can go after whatever size project we want. Or we have a cap on it. I think it's like 2.
There would be no way to expedite it by just going to Dan.
No. What you're saying is we may phase it, but it'll still be one project.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. If the right way gets hung up on the other part, we could phase it, yes.
Okay.
And the connection over to
Columbia River Road.
Right.
Yeah, that'll be the second part of it or whatever.
And that'll come out about at the fire station or close to it, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Just south of there, if you took it straight
When
in.
it's connected all the way down, that'll really help. But going to Dan will be a big help. Lord,
Well, yeah. If we run, if we go in and everybody's cooperating, get the right of way acquired, and there's no reason why we shouldn't do it all.
Sounds like the Eichmeyers.
Eichmeyers are for
For
it.
it
We've
now.
talked to them.
Yeah.
I can't see why anybody there would be opposed to that.
So they would be about that.
Well, you have some people on Easy Street, if that's the alignment that's chosen, the houses are right on Easy Street, and you know you're going from something where you don't get hardly any traffic to you know what kind of traffic you're going to see. I mean, we're going to tell them what we're projecting we're going to see.
You're gonna, yeah, right down Easy Street. All over
And
the gap, yeah.
you know,
Isn't that fun?
living there, I'd have some concerns before I say, yeah, go ahead and take my property.
Because nobody lives on Easy Street. I bet the 10 cars a day go up that now.
Right. And it's gravel. I mean, they're eating some dust right now, but and they wouldn't be eating dust, but we can see a big difference in traffic patterns there. So yeah, there's some potential there. And then there's always the farming practice issues as far as real irrigation and circles and that sort of thing. That's part of what they're going to find out when they start talking to these people. Where can we put this to minimize the impact on your farm or whatever?
You know, I hadn't realized the Conic come out on Easy Street, but I can see that it would.
Yeah. If you draw straight up, it's easy. It goes right
Right out
Easy Street, which is good and bad because the right way is already there. But I'm sure we're going to have to acquire some additional to make it work. So. And that's what they're going to do for us is to go through analysis, contacts, and public need and
Sounds good. That would be a good prospect.
Okay.
The banks emailing, do you want it just to say that you're opposed to it?
Well, I think at this point, this, that's better, that's, probably all we should say. Well, or that it would affect the landfill in Franklin County. In our negotiation.
Well, our settlement has already been negotiated, you bet. And if we have to have anybody testify on that, we should send Darren to testify.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Leonard Dietrich and some of the big players.
Well, yeah, they would go on their own, but I mean.
Well, no,
encourage them, yeah.
I know, but they should go at the same time.
Yeah. But Darren can argue that because
Well, he can talk about all the
he's been heavily involved with it.
stuff that it's hard to. You know what?
Steve Marks needs to see you for 5 minutes if you have time this morning in an executive session to give you some information.
Okay. If the
That's going to be discussed.
prosecutor, if he's coming, you know, we should wait, and then there's a break at 10:15. So having come up at 10:15.
That will be
Steve?
discussed in the legislative steering committee.
What?
That this 6-7.
I'll voice your concerns.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I bet it will.
definitely.
That's,
That we had a settlement with them.
Well, no, this is.
I'm going to call Tim.
Do you have the form that we used to sign at one time when we went out and closed the property?
Are the prosecutors coming down there?
Either do for public use.
Steve's car was here this morning. Still isn't, so Darren, if anybody's coming, it'd be Darren.
Darren, this is Marion with Commissioners Meeting Room. Hi, Steve was scheduled to come at 10. Okay. Do you?
I have a
Yes.
question for Darren.
And the board does need to ask you something, so thank you. He'll check.
On that Basin City Water District, I mean, you were going to have them research to find out about the taxing
Yeah.
portion of it.
They were gonna come up with a definite.
I don't think that's even been talked about, but we're kind of
Here.
getting closer to the deadline.
Well, he was aware of the deadline that was in here.
He wasn't here, was he?
Pat
Not
and I
Darren,
talked
no,
this morning.
but
But it's-
Doris's husband was aware of the deadline.
Well, I
Oh,
know,
was
but
it? But we were
we
supposed to get-
put it to the prosecutor.
Yeah, we were supposed to get with the PA's office and get some stuff cleared up.
Oh, I thought he was coming back to
No.
us.
It's been sent to the prosecutor's office, but we decided, I mean, we can't advertise it till next week anyway, so if Monday, if we have our answers, I think we really have about a 2-week window that we can still make the
I just don't want the window to go by.
Right.
Well, no, absolutely not.
Is this one bids?
I believe that's what's in the box. This one says bid opening, and this one says it's to Ray, so it would make sense.
Well, that's probably the sample in the box.
We're waiting, we have about a 2-minute break.
Surely.
Prosecutor.
So when would the speaking be?
I give him that house bill.
Oh, well, I don't know when the hearing would have. But we need to contact our legislators right now.
It must have had some hearing or something because it's their cutoff dates.
The cutoff date for submission, but not for approval.
Yeah.
I just had Pat send an email to all of them with a CC to Darren and to Tim Clyde.
But it says clarifying remedies for local government for hazardous waste cleanup financial assistance. Yeah, they're clearing it up by refusing to give us any.
Refusing to pay.
I mean, that's the subject. My goodness.
Well, it says it was.
And you can't sue.
Yeah.
They've got tort reform in this bill.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder who's pushing this. Is
That's what our
Ecology?
question is.
Yes.
We know.
I will call Steve Feely today. Are we on the record? Let's go to executive session and talk about litigation.
Darren, did you talk to him about the water thing? Okay. Well, you come through surgery okay, huh?
I guess. I think I was here too long yesterday. I don't think I'm going to. For Mary asking to review some water sewer district statutes. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. I was actually just printing them out when I got the call that you guys are meeting. I came on down. Is there a specific issue you
Well,
want to
there
address?
might be a window of time for them to get the issue on the ballot, and we have to do it. There was a question about the financing or the taxation portion of it, and we don't want to get in that same situation as
You
we
want to know
did
what
with
limits are on their taxing ability?
Well, if we had to put something on the ballot along with forming the district.
Now, let me just ask a question. They're going to set the election date. So what would the limitations be? They set the election.
We set it.
Well, we set it, but we do it at their request.
Right.
At their request.
Well, the limitations are the last election can be in May. And we have to notify the
But they couldn't.
auditor 45 days prior.
They can only do this election in May. They couldn't say, well, we're going to have it in the fall. That's what I'm asking.
Not according to.
They'd be a year out then.
Okay, you answered my question.
The election date would be May 18th. It has to be advertised 4 consecutive weeks before that election. And before that, there has to be 2 consecutive weeks before you have a public hearing. So we've got 7
March.
weeks.
So we do have March.
total. I think right now it's tentatively set for March 8th if we get all the paperwork in a row. One of the questions that you had before was on the mosquito board, how the funding, that's one thing you wanted research. So.
And if that had to
we
be
need
on
to
the
know
ballot,
that's what you want to
if
send
the
in
funding,
email.
not only forming the mosquito district, but also this is what we faxed in regard to.
It hasn't been faxed yet. Pat's asking if that is okay.
Okay, the board is opposed to 6718. It would negatively affect the landfill in Franklin County and the settlement that has already been negotiated. If necessary, we will send someone from Franklin County to testify at the hearing.
And it's going to go to who?
To our 9 legislators.
Yeah, as a brief statement, yeah, that's.
But
Is it
you
okay?
should put the Franklin County
yes,
Board of
I
Commissioners
know.
so
She
that
will.
they see it every time they turn
Well,
around.
frankly, if it's going to our legislators, you might want to be more explicit. In the early 70s, the Department of Ecology made an explicit written promise to Franklin County that they would be fully responsible for the
Do
damage
you
that
want
was
to write
created
it
out there.
for us?
They still owe us that responsibility, and they're now trying to shield themselves from the litigation. Now that that's come to light, is
Did you get all that down?
No, she can't.
It's on the recording.
It's on the recording.
Okay.
I would throw something like that in. I mean, if they're going to do this,
I just didn't know whether that would.
it might screw things up. But you know what? If this is passed, who cares? We're screwed anyhow.
Yeah. True.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
Can you come up with a letter on that then, Mary?
Something a little more specific.
Replay the.
I move for approval, we send a letter to our legislators in regard to
Senate
Senate
bill.
Bill 6718.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
So now we can sign that anytime.
And obviously, what we're looking at here is a summary. I'll go back and actually read what the details of the bill say and make sure we agree that it says what I think it says. So you want to know what the taxing ability of the district is and whether the funding issue has to be on the ballot at the same time.
Yes.
And the reason we ask that is because what happens when the mosquito district, you
Right.
know,
Okay. So we'll take a look
Thanks,
at that.
Darren. Do you want a letter you want something in writing for this request? It's kind of what Steve
Well,
said, crosswise with him on the mosquito district.
yes, I do want a letter, I guess.
Yeah,
You're
okay.
right. You're right.
It'll be just a short note.
All right.
Okay.
trying to, is Steve coming up now?
He'll be here. They've been
Pat,
talking.
we need a letter to Darren regarding the ballot title for the mosquito,
Not mosquito.
the water sewer district in Basin City, along with the question if the funding needs to be on the ballot also. Just a brief note, because, when we got crosswise with the prosecutor's office on mosquito district, Steve wanted something in writing as a request from us. And so
So we're
Darren,
asking him to please
research
research.
okay. The ballot title
Okay.
and
And should the funding be on the ballot? Okay. I don't know if we addressed number 2 on the regular agenda. Gary Peterson requests the board's
Oh.
permission to utilize a small district court down
it's
there.
all right with us. If
Okay.
it's all right with them, I
Well,
think.
he talked to Terry and he talked about it, but he wanted the board's permission.
Yeah, because he uses this room, so I see no it's meeting with the first time offender.
You know, I was just,
Yeah.
Okay.
as long as it's recorded, doesn't this?
Utilize every inch we've got as long as.
I talked to him at the funeral on Monday. Okay,
Hi.
we're going to go into executive session for 5 minutes with our county assessor, Steve Marks.
I'll be back to get good jobs.
Oh, well, that's what he's making.
This is a good place to work.
Good jobs every day.
50,000.
That's why there's gotta be some.
I think there might be a couple of something.
That's what I think.
Good morning, Ray.
Good morning.
Morning, Ray.
Packages, stuff, proposals. I understand.
Thank you.
There's 3.
Three?
We have 3 proposals?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're here. It's 10:30, February the 18th, and we're here for a bid opening for floor covering for our arena area and track. And the first one is Kevin Schefter, Spoke Fork Inc. of Salt Lake City.
And another one.
What?
And another one. That's sealed.
They wanted to make sure that it wasn't open ahead of time. And this is for $65,870.
Good.
What was our estimate on that?
90,000.
Oh, and here's a little CD.
Yeah, we got that. Seen that material.
Okay, the next one is from Eula Yale, Centennial Floor Company of Scottsdale, Arizona.
Would you mind spelling that for me?
D-U-L-I-A-V-A-L-E. I mean, it's two names. Light gray, high impact, interlocking tile, $60,536. And that doesn't show if it's the shipping or sales tax. The other one included shipping.
And sales tax.
No, it didn't say, so. They're from out of state, so I didn't. I would say it wasn't. Okay, the third one is Signature Fencing of New York, New York. And there is a sample. Good enough for samples. Oh, I didn't see the amount. I'm sorry.
What I'm going to assume, if it's not anything listed there, is that this is what Continental Flooring Company submitted. Because it says what event deck, and I believe that is event deck. They called me and said that they would be sending a sample.
Oh, okay, so this goes with the second bid.
This would go with the Continental Flooring bid.
Okay.
The material, the flooring that we specified was the Portafloor. The reason we specified the Portafloor as opposed to this is the attachment system. Do you notice the attachment system?
Well, I think we need to put on the record that
only one bid then.
Only one bid met specification.
Now look at that again right here.
Did those bids, did that bid include tax and shipping and the whole thing?
This one included freight.
So the event flooring went with the second bid.
It's event deck, and I believe this, and they indicated to me that they would be submitting a sample.
May I ask a question for clarification? I think you said Signature Flooring?
Signature.
Is that the
is
duly available?
Signature Flooring is the company that submitted to us the event deck sample. And the event deck is what was submitted by Continental Flooring Company. The bid by Continental Flooring Company was for 32,200 square feet of event deck, and that's what this is.
So this is just who sent the sample?
This is the sample.
My problem is that the two bids were from Sport Court and from Duly Avail, nothing about Signature Flooring or Continental. So I need to know which bid, I need to know which company that goes with.
Continental Flooring Company's bid of $60,536 is
so
for their
Duly
bid.
Avail is
Duly Avail is for event deck.
So Duly Avail is the name of a person at Continental
The
Flooring.
name of the person, correct.
And the first bid doesn't.
The first bid is Sports Court, and that is what the bid specification is.
And
they meet the bid specification.
They do.
They do.
That's the only
This is the only one that specifically meets the bid specification.
And their price was $60,000.
$65,870, which included transportation.
I think that we need to Well, I want to go on record that this is the extent of the bids we received. However, I think we need a clarification. If we can specify a certain product, it would be like going out for a washing machine or dryer that you required certain things, but you couldn't specify a certain brand like Maytag or Whirlpool. And I think that's what we've done here.
You think we violated there?
Well, it's my question. As one commissioner, I think we need to double check with our prosecutor on this.
Well, no, I would support what you say.
Because they're similar, they might not, one might be better than the other, but I don't know if we can specify a certain product in a bid.
What do we specify?
We specified this product for the attributes that it has.
We said we want Portaflor.
By name?
No, we did not specify Portaflor. I was very specific in talking about the connection system in the bid.
Okay. So that's, what we did, but we better go to the, I think we
let's just
better
run by
have
the
it.
prosecutor.
Yeah.
But as long as it's specified brand.
Do we have a copy of the bid,
I did not bring it with me.
of what we advertised for?
Well, you have to be able to have specs on a bid.
And the specs were regarding the number of tabs and connection system was what I was really concerned with, and also the underneath here,
So
a
had
little bit more
it not even been
substantive.
that, it could have been some other thing that did meet that. Yeah,
If something else can come up with this kind of a connection system.
that's all you're
That's
interested in.
that was my issue.
Yeah. And there may be others out there too.
Again, with the bid, seeing especially on the side, you only have these two little pegs holding this whole thing together, and we're driving vehicles on it.
And
What little pegs are gonna pop
you
off?
can see the difference in the two pieces.
Yeah, let's just make sure we haven't done something we're not supposed to.
Do you want me to call Darren and see if he can come now?
Ray can go up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go there on the way out. And
Because the one was $5,000 more.
Yeah, there's actually less than $3,000 of does not include.
this 65.
Includes, no, wait a minute.
It
This
includes
includes
shipping.
delivery. 60,536 includes delivery, but does not include sales tax. And
But
this
neither
one
of them
also,
includes
neither.
sales tax.
No, both put delivery in there.
Delivery's in both of them.
They're both 60,000?
No, this is 60.
There's 5,000 difference.
$5,000 difference.
That's more. All right.
But this one doesn't say anything about shipping.
Right.
Yeah, it does
It
actually.
does, yeah.
It says
Both of them have
unit
shipping.
prices include delivery. but
So
does
both
not
of them include
sales
delivery.
tax. Yes.
Okay, that one, this one over here. This goes with this?
Yes.
That's what's so confusing. Okay, so it does,
But there's only one that met the specs, and that's,
Right.
Because of that
I see.
issue, what
And
we're,
we didn't ask for brands. We asked for
a
certain
connection
quality.
system. And the other, and my concern with
when do you
underneath,
have to get this approved, Ray?
well, we want to do it today.
we need to do it today in that we need at least 13,000 for the home show, which is coming up very quickly.
Yeah.
And both have indicated that to me over the phone that they could deliver.
Well, I would move for approval that we accept the bid from Sport Court for $65,870 with the approval of the prosecuting attorney's office.
I'll second that motion. Fred, did you have something?
Plus Washington State sales tax.
Plus, yes, excuse me, yes. plus
All
what-
in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
That's very good.
Okay.
Very good. Next item on our agenda is event update. We go through that weekly. We had Takaha meeting for 25 people and another one for 15 people. We had open writing the 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. There was 110 people came through.
That's really great.
On the open writing. Russ Dean had a very successful car and RV sale.
They were really pleased with it.
They had people waiting. They were too deep buying RVs on Sunday.
And Monday didn't hurt them then.
Monday was a
day.
poor day, but I think for what they did, I've heard that they were very, very pleased with what took place on Saturday.
I was afraid Monday was that memorable day.
It was. The Titans had 225 each in their games, and Brent Palmer had 300 for the roping. And the advisory board last night had 12. So that's.
How did that go? Then,
A big turnout on the advisory board.
well, there was
And
food.
staff, and
There was
Mel
food.
had food. Mel was actually not there last night. He was under the, what do you call it, TriTech, giving a class. All right, next thing was this weekend, we've got the boat show coming in. They're loading in already. We got Rough Stock Rodeo Saturday night. And immediately we turn over to the home show. Sunday, actually, we turn the arena over into from the rodeo into the home and garden show. And then we have, after that, Farm Fair, Department of Energy meeting, Department of Transportation meeting, Desert Ski Club meeting, and then go into the Irish Games, which utilizes all of our facility again.
That was a huge number last year, as I recall.
Yeah, it was in our top 10.
Yeah.
Now, do we do any food for that one?
We do not. No, that's part of their issue.
Okay.
That's how they can do it. Okay, and then the next thing is the Cancer Center fundraiser. Mel's doing that. Then Takaha meeting on the 10th, and then Honor Bound Convention where we got a couple
The
thousand
Cancer
people.
Center, isn't that a
Mhm.
continental breakfast?
Mhm.
Not a lunch?
It's a breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Honor Bound is a religious convention. A couple thousand guys come in for that. Next thing on the agenda is the advisory board. Last night, the advisory board met. We had a quorum. Dave Beach was selected to be the
Chair.
And we went through the other positions. And Allie Dockstetter's time will be up just prior to our next meeting, or right about that next meeting. I did talk with her this morning, and she is very interested in continuing on. So we'll need to go ahead and, if she is a county appointee, and
I move to retain Allie Dockstetter on the track advisory board.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
okay.
Would you
We
like
need-
to assign a resolution number now?
Yes. And we need to also send her a letter of appointment. That's
The
95.
terms are set by,
Yes.
that's what we start with,
This morning she enthusiastically indicated she would like to
yeah.
continue.
That's good, when they enthusiastically say they want to do it.
And then what become of the city appointees?
Eileen Crawford was the appointee. She was there last night. She had not yet been officially appointed. She was to have been appointed last night after our meeting. She had a city council meeting when ours ended, so she'll be going to that.
I predicted Eileen.
She is there. She asked some good questions. And she appeared enthusiastic. So. And finally, Les Patterson's position is and has been up, and that is an appointment by the advisory board itself. And Les has indicated that he will be looking around to see if there's another person that he might want to recommend for that. And it was the intention of the board that somebody with an equestrian or rodeo background be an appointee for that position. So it wasn't set in stone. Fred, was that your take on it, Dave?
I think one question that I need to ask you is that the guidelines of the advisory board gives them 6 years maximum. At that point, they're done. You know, there was some discussion as to getting new blood in, and I guess what I'm getting at is there's even some discussion as to is there possible that you may want to extend that to where, say, Wes has been on it for 9 years, I think.
We have no control of what the city does, because they put a city council person on that, and those guys don't.
Well, no, the advisory board guidelines that was signed by both the city and the county, the guidelines show that you will have no more than 2 consecutive 3-year terms.
But Carl Strode was on that long.
Well, we know that. We haven't enforced the guidelines, and that's what he's asking.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking is that, like the county employee, like Les, maybe he wants to stay on. He kind of indicated that maybe he was ready to move on. But Leonard Dietrich's coming up, and he's the city one also. I guess I'm just curious as to what your feelings are.
Well, maybe we need to check with the city to see if they want to revise those guidelines.
Well, what I'm saying is the city has already broken the guidelines.
Yeah.
They've broken the guidelines, and I think that it's up to the county to do what they want to. Because when
Well,
the city,
we need to, but we need to call it to their attention personally. I think there should be turnover. I mean, I think Leonard and Les are excellent people, but there must be other excellent people out there.
Well, they agree with that. They think new blood's the way to go.
no, I don't agree, but I don't think we're locked in on this thing.
Well, it's probably like a covenant or anything else. You break it and you done broke it.
Well, I'm just curious as to what your feelings are. If you think new blood after 6 years needs to come in.
I think new blood in any Fred, I always have thought that. But new blood for the sake of new blood, unless somebody really wants it.
Yeah, unless you can
and
find
if
someone
it's,
that's...
if it's operating fine, I just think...
But in any organization, new ideas coming, no matter how good the person is doing, another person's going to have different ideas.
Well, and if these gentlemen are indicating that they probably are ready to step down, then they may not be as aggressively interested in it in the next several years.
Well,
my whole point is, we've got new blood with Eileen Crawford coming up. And then we had new blood with Beach and Allie. So, I mean, with attrition... Huh? Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I think you have basically new blood. You don't have a complete turnover. So I think that's my opinion. I'd leave well enough alone.
But I think we're in a position, once the city has broken it, to do what we want to without changing anything. If we want to really let them fail on it, that's up to us.
Well, the reason why I asked the question is that they're going to, it was handed out to them last night, they were going to take home and look at the guidelines for the advisory board, and they were going to come back and, discuss it a little bit more, and I wanted to be able to make comments as to what your comments were.
Isn't Les gone certain parts of the year, or is he?
Les's attendance has been sporadic, but we do know that he goes to Las Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, he has a
in
reason to be
December,
gone. He doesn't
and
just
that's pretty
not
much
show
the one
up.
he misses.
I know.
Les goes to rodeos, and he
And
goes
then
to
the
long
summer.
time
All over
rodeos.
the place.
Sometimes he furnishes stock.
But summer times are difficult for him too. So you got the December, and then summer times are difficult. Not that he doesn't. He's totally missing.
He doesn't just miss because he's sitting in the living room and doesn't feel like going.
Not at all. Don't believe that's the case at all.
Well, I don't have strong-
recall any time that he hasn't been there, that he hasn't been out of town.
Yeah.
Either rodeoing or national finals.
So, but I thought overall there was a good tone. We went over the annual report, and people appeared to be satisfied with the numbers that we produced last year. And obviously, we want to see where we can improve whenever we can, wherever we can. But that did not seem to be an issue last night at all. Everybody liked the attendance numbers and the event diversity. So, anything else to add to that, Fred? Your perspective, but pretty well summed it up. No major issues. And last thing on the agenda, Rich asked to come in with RV park for bid.
And just a short memo here of items that we have in the budget currently on items needed for the RV park. And all this bidding process, we found out with the fact that several other things can sometimes be a picky wicket. But we've got the picnic tables that I'm looking at. We need 55 of them.
Are those going to be chained down?
They're going to be the heavy ones.
Are
We've
they?
got the Chihuahua Park tables that is that type of table I'm going to spec out. Those things are about 300 pounds.
Yeah.
They don't move too easy.
Well, I wouldn't be so worried about people who are parking their RVs as somebody just coming in taking a sweep.
There's going to be people in there.
Yeah, but I doubt that somebody's going to throw one in there. I guess it's 6 of one and half dozen another, but I doubt somebody's going to throw one in their RV. I would be more concerned about somebody coming in some night and loading up a bunch and taking it to Arizona or somewhere.
But, well, they don't fit too easily even in the back of the pickup. Those large ones that are out there at the park. They're about 250, 300 pounds. There's 2 companies that offer that type of picnic table, so what I'm looking at doing is with these 3 items, the street sweeper and the RV park sign, he's going out to bid on them with specs just like we did with the Portaflor, generic in nature, specifying the nature of the picnic tables, the covering, plastic coating, the steel, street sweeper. There's one that we'd like to have, so that probably will be spec'd out according to what its specs are, and that quality are better. So again, the one thing that I found in the bidding format that was approved by the county, it's really difficult to bid out the product that you want. There are some times that you do bidding, like we've got right here, where you do get like things that basically will meet the specs, but they're not the product that you want, because that's the one that's most functional for the operation.
Would a tractor come to mind, or are you thinking of that?
A tractor will come to mind when I'm thinking of that.
Do you think Tim could help with this process?
You know, there's only one item on here that really needs to go out to bid, and that's the street sweeper. Everything else is inside the public or the smaller roster. And that whole small roster is put together so we can eliminate them from the whole process. So, you know, if he can get quotes, now the way that small roster works is you call everybody on that roster and you have them submit a quote. So, again, the sweeper's the only one that really needs to go out to bid.
Well, it's under the...
No, it's 2,500 to 25,000.
Oh, is it?
And you're thinking of this, the public works roster is 200,000.
Okay, all right.
The one, going back to my experience with the tractor, is that I had to go out and go to all the dealerships in the area because none of them are on the small works roster. And that took some time to do it. And with the picnic tables, that type of thing, you know, I'd have to go out and solicit them getting onto the roster, which, you know, it's time consuming, but can be done.
I think all they have to do is call in to Bridget and it has to be put on.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah, and that, you know, I'm just looking direction, which, this is kind of what I'm looking at. If the board would like me to just go ahead and work on the small works roster, it might be even the street sweeper. I can call and see if that's 26,000 is still a good price, or if that one that we're looking at may be less.
I would prefer to use a small roster because it eliminates a lot of problems.
That's my opinion.
But is there a vendor for the picnic tables on our small works roster? Huh? No, that's what I thought. So that's why I thought maybe if we work through the road department.
Well, it'd have to be somebody make them up, is what you're saying, that we come out with specs on them.
No, they have catalogs.
Yeah, they got catalogs with the specs on them. Again, I can go with this picnic tables to the small works roster. It's just that I would
But how
solicit.
can you do that if you don't have vendors
Well,
locally to
okay,
put their name on?
I've got Northwest Litchfield Industries. I call Litchfield Industries. I said, okay, I would like to purchase or have you give me a proposal on this table. For you to be able to do that, you have to contact Pat or Bridget upstairs and apply to be on the small works roster. Once they do that, then they can go through They can go from there, and then I have to contact 3 different, or at least document that I've contacted 3 different entities. If Litchfield does not want to bid on it, at least I've documented that I've called on such and such a date and request a proposal from them, and then to go on the small works roster. Then, if they don't do it, then I've got it
Why
documented
don't you
according to
see if you
specs.
can work all of these off the small ones?
Okay.
You can come back, if you can't get a street sweeper, that way.
Okay, I can sure do that.
So street sweeper becomes very important when you get people in that hotel.
Right. Okay, I'll go ahead and send the direction. We'll just work everything off the small works roster, just go through that process of getting them imposed on, put on the roster with Pat or Bridget upstairs. And then last week, just a real quick update, there was a construction meeting on the RV park, and it looks like the target date for completion is the 21st of March, if everything falls into place.
What about the spring system and tracks?
Well, the meeting showed that that was put back about 2 weeks.
That'll come after that.
No, that's with
That's included in.
That's with
Included in the
that's included.
21st March.
That's included in the.
That's
21st.
just a month and 3 days from today, or something like
Well, good. When is our photo show coming on?
Be about the 8th, 9th, 10th of April.
that. Aha.
Okay, because Butch asked me, and I said, well, we're done by the 1st of June in both the hotel and that. I said, he said, I wanted to have that. So that's good.
You're cruel.
You know,
You'd still be right.
well, half
I
right.
hope I'm not.
Half right. But that's then we just got to get the approval for occupancy on it.
Good.
But
Just so you know, Rich, I talked to Jeremy, but they asked for a 2-day delay before the meeting. So that 21st.
okay.
And that bathroom sticks up higher than I remember it in our conversation. Yeah, that's good.
The bathroom where?
On the north end of the RV park.
That's the one we already have.
No, that's
No, the
the
one
they,
we're putting
one
in.
they built. So. Okay, well, I've got my questions answered. Got direction on it.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you for coming in.
If you can see Darren, just come right back down. I hope they allowed you to see.
We made the motion subject to the approval.
Yeah.
Mark, thank you for missing me the last time. Very seldom has anybody missed me. Yeah, thank you.
Specs and information, please.
I'm going to cause trouble, and you all.
Yeah.
That's what's all.
Yeah, I don't think we have should have any trouble.
Okay.
I don't, but I mean, let Darren make that call.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm up next, so I'll be patient and let.
Oh. You're up
Let them
next?
come in.
Oh, boy. Now we got trouble.
All right, Mr. Stoker. That's a pretty
Well,
neat
ecology
shirt.
kind of back down.
Well, nobody back down. They sure were mad.
Mad?
Oh, Karen Wood called me, and she
was
furious.
Yeah, well, her job's on the line. She better be
She
careful.
was furious, though. I will have to say that it did have a reaction because all of a sudden they're starting to send us information.
We talked to 9 legislators.
Oh, they're still in trouble with us.
And Quincy and give them the letter, and also
Yeah,
ask them
because,
to rein them in, because
it's a Senate bill, so it'll go to the
you know,
House.
the intent of the legislation isn't that these department heads can run rampant.
Right.
And ecology has a
She wants to know if that's okay that we send them to them and copy
What did she say?
the district because
Oh, she,
The
you
representative.
know, she was saying, I thought we'd work this all out, and blah, 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 blah.
And to her
Yeah,
satisfaction,
to
she
her
would
sat-
work it out.
Well, yeah, to your satisfaction, it was worked out. Oh, she was furious.
It's fun to be the big boss.
Well, do you think that's put down on the?
I don't think so because it's not in the House yet, but.
Oh,
we
I
can-
see, okay.
It's Senate bill.
All right.
Yeah, but we're copying to the House, and then we'll make personal phone calls and, and harass and call them at 3 a.m. That always works.
Oh, and by the way, I own a broom, and I can sweep,
Just a draft.
and for a minimal charge, I can sweep.
For track? That's pretty hefty area to sweep with, I'm sorry. Sweep with the broom. Okay, Mr. Stoker.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Three quick things, I hope. One, sample letter.
This is the letter speaking.
I don't know what you have.
That's
What's
another
your
thing
letter?
that we need to do after they're done with this.
What is it?
This is the one that
It's
came out.
from Maria Cantwell.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's item number 2.
A couple of letters that Pat brought down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, first one is, here's a copy for each of you to look at. And what this is a rewrite of a letter that you endorsed us having available about 8 months ago. And basically, in a nutshell, it is a sample letter for those who are interested throughout the three-county area to, when there's been some inquiry into increasing the activities of the Guama outside of nitrates to some water quantity activities, and primarily mapping and documentation. A year ago, we went down this road, and the idea was to expand the hydrostratigraphy, and with some of the concerns on water quantity, and I wouldn't go there because our mandate was nitrates only, and we've been sticking with that for a long time. However, we have all the keys to the water quantity issues because we're doing hydrostratigraphy. So anyway, we went around and got a letter like this, and essentially the story is that when quite a lot of city council, all of them that I went to, wanted to sign a letter ASAP, until I got to the East Columbia Basin Irrigation District Board last June, and they complained that the letter was too broad, that they interpreted it as like they do in their conservative viewpoint, that we were going to take over the world, I think, or something, and wouldn't sign it. And I said, okay, then I'll honor the viewpoint that we've had, that we won't go any further until you agree to sign it. Well, then, basically what that meant was when you get really needy, you can call me and I'll come back. They're really needy and they're calling. And the Odessa subaquifer scenario that you've been reading about is the driver for them. Mm-hmm. And Bernie Erickson from up in that area, he's chair of the board. And the other board members have been asking me, bring your letter back, bring your letter back. And so last month at the Guama board meeting, I took the old letter and changed the last line to say include mapping and documentation instead of all water issues, so that it's more specific to basically what it is we are doing, which is hydrostratigraphy work and mapping and documentation. And I told everybody I would not go release it back out for anybody to sign or do anything until I went through, back in front of these boards. And that was sort of a calculated deal to give me a little bit of time for them to get a little bit more wanting it. So that's where we're at.
Is Skibbit on board with this?
Who?
Now.
South Columbia Basin.
Oh, is South Columbia Board Irrigation District? They haven't signed it. No.
Will they sign
it?
We really haven't.
We haven't really researched it with them because, the East District drives the boat. Until the East District signs it and wants it, there's no point to go to Quincy in the South.
But the East District has indicated they'll support it.
Yeah, they're now.
Now.
please come back, kind of thing. And so, because the main crux of their argument about why the second half of the project should be coming in is the salvation of the Odessa subaquifer, and they have no documentation for that to occur or not to occur outside of what we have, and the management of the management now and the future management of that aquifer and any other aquifers by DOE is based on the many years old USGS information. And of course, I've told the Guam board that I've been over to CGS and visited with their regional people about it, and they're now on board. And
You might see that updated.
Mm-hmm. And they've retracted their hostile attitude about their personalities about us coming up with new information about that they didn't do. So we're making progress in that arena. So essentially what happens here is I don't need a resolution. I just need the basic consent of each of the commissioners that that this is an acceptable format and that we can make it available for those who want it. Now, further to continue that.
But I just want to
Yeah.
go back to Skibby again.
Yeah.
Are we going to get Skibby on board on this thing?
Well, my expectation is we don't go anywhere until everybody signs it.
In other words, this doesn't go anywhere until Skibby gets on board.
And they don't get on board until the leader signs on.
Yeah. See, we don't go to them until Bernie and the board of their signs. I won't go to Quincy or Sal.
Then the letter would come back with everybody's signature blocks on it.
Yeah, or a series of letters, either way.
Yeah, either way.
And of course, the head of the Columbia Basin Development League, who's pushing a lot of this entity, is Michael Plant, who's board member of the Quincy board. So anyway, so that's that particular issue, and I won't really go into it, but the Odessa subaquifer water quantity issue is only one of a large number of quantity issues building within the three-county area. It's just one, but it's a driver right now, and the largest water purveyors are the irrigation districts, and as you've noted, they need to be on board for this to occur, and that's what we're waiting for. Furthermore, I will go ahead and describe to you what happened this morning. Dave Lundgren from the Lincoln Conservation District called to inform me that the Lincoln County Commissioners yesterday signed 3 letters they're bringing to the board meeting tomorrow night. Letter number 1 is an official letter to request joining the 3 counties in the groundwater management area.
What's the new man? He was over.
Dennis Bly.
Oh, Dennis Bly.
Yeah,
I've
it's been a long
time.
Second letter will be a request, basically one of these letters in their own handwriting. A third letter will be related to a contract we've been holding up for doing some hydrostatic work on their place for about a year, pledging that we wouldn't do anything across the border without their permission, which it's like, we won't look until you let us.
Well,
it's hilarious. But anyway,
that's got to be the board's permission, doesn't it? I mean,
well, it's public
go.
information. Anybody can do it any time. But we said we won't do it until you say it's okay, county commissioners. And the holdup's been they have a very active conservation district board up there, and one of their members is very opinionated. And the bottom line is they've patronized that particular citizen for as long as they can, and he was at the meeting yesterday, and apparently they just says, sorry, we're just going to go ahead without you. And matter of fact, he is today, that Lincoln County member is today in Pullman 8 full hours with one of your citizens named Chris Herron, and continuing his position, I think, or something.
His what? You lost me.
This guy is a dryland wheat farmer, and he is a very right-wing, conservative viewpoint person. Like generally, we say black
The conservation district member
This
is.
one guy,
Yeah.
not the district board, just this one
Yeah.
guy. And he's come to a conclusion that he wants to have total control of the Guam plan. He wants us to reopen the plan and let him decide what's in it.
Everybody needs a king.
That's the point.
But now for Lincoln County, that's something aside, you know.
That there's no question that this is a living document and it's a grassroots process. And if they have issues, they can bring it up legally and legitimately in front of the board. And if it's the right thing to do, go at it.
But that's for Lincoln
Could I just interrupt for a second? What's the word? Okay.
One
Great.
is porta floor, and in our specifications, we had a weight load capacity. The other one had no mention whatsoever of the weight load capability for that product.
Okay.
So that indicated that understructure was one of the reasons we wanted, was one of our criteria.
But Neva had another concern here, and apparently that was addressed.
Yeah. Well, I just, where is it? I don't see it.
Oh, that,
Is it this? No.
no, it's the one saying that it's the bid.
Oh, no. I
Yeah,
don't know
it's
what I
the
did
notice
with
of
it.
bid.
Oh,
Do I have it? Gracious
maybe I tossed it.
You
No?
passed, you must have, I don't know.
I don't know where it is.
You passed
Anyway,
up there,
it
you
is.
lost yours off.
Okay, you'll just
Yeah,
have to wait a
so-
second, is that okay?
Yep.
Run with it. Derek?
We went through side by side.
Everything, okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Ray.
Can I insert this so Pat can take it back, or do you need to take it back up?
Yes.
Okay, I move approval of a letter to Darren Campbell requesting that he research needs to be printed on the ballot and review the draft notice of public hearing regarding the Basin City Water Sewer District.
Second motion.
All in
How long
favor?
did you work on that?
Aye. That was an excellent motion, Sue.
They got an interesting group out of now, so that's great.
Everybody in Basin City is interested.
There it is.
I'm always in it.
They're always helping.
It was right in front of my face, and I was looking.
It's over. Anyway, I was just, they had the bid request, but for the specs and information,
Yeah.
contact individuals, and so,
That was Dave's concern, but apparently that's no concern of Darren's, so, or wasn't.
hopefully. All right,
Do you
sorry,
want a
back
motion
on
on
to your,
this?
pardon?
Do you want a motion on this, or you're
I don't
still
need a
talking?
motion, I just need your concurrence.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
Well, I didn't
I
think you
concur.
wanted to be on board until everybody's on board.
Well,
I figured
but we're not.
The only request I have is that you're comfortable with the language on the letter to make it available for other people to use
Yeah.
as a sample if they wish.
I have no problem with
So there's no
the.
official activity other than
I don't have
review,
any
just a
problem.
review.
Yeah, with the way the letter is written, and we understand that until all the players have signed on, the letter will not go out.
My concern about Lincoln County, maybe coming in, what is that gonna do to our funding? I mean, is it going to hinder the three counties that have been there from the get-go? And take some of our money that we so diligently worked hard, you people?
The answer is probably no, in the respect that in this context, the bigger the geography and the more the people, the more the merrier, the more the response you get. The aquifer structures that we're working with do extend under Lincoln County, and it's a geographical, it just does. So, as far as distribution of funds, in a sense, it actually makes it an interesting addition because the senators have pushed our number one activity, irrigation scheduling, on over into NRCS's territory, and the EQIP program is a big source of funding. And Adams and Lincoln County are both in the same regional geographic group. And so if you add Lincoln to us, then we can legitimately, shall we say, lobby their EQIP process to adopt IWM activities the same as we've done in the Franklin and the Grant County area.
I would be willing to bet that most people didn't really understand the scope of what was going to be done when this was started, really.
Well, our board right here didn't.
Yeah, I didn't.
No, this is absolutely right.
That's right.
Lincoln County didn't understand. I personally didn't understand it.
Well, Lincoln
also
County,
did. Pardon?
one of the commissioners did not want anybody delving into the groundwater, I don't think.
But I don't think he understood up there, really. I don't think he understood.
No, he's now a tremendous proponent of this activity.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's a natural evolution. As regards to your question about funding, if the expectation is, everybody's expectation is to sign a lot of these letters basically what that does is that authorizes me and our activities and you guys, et cetera, to support additional requests along this line. There are a large number of federal programs that can assist in paying for this mapping and funding and et cetera. But I can't actually go after those. And if you add Lincoln County to the mix, then it makes sense. If there's more people wanting it, it makes it a more sellable feature.
But if this does away with anything of that old USGS survey that we've been making decisions on, or somebody's been making decisions on
Correct.
for years, it's worth it.
That's where we're going, actually. And so, in reference to your question, does it dilute our funding? No. And I think that as far as nitrates are concerned, realize that December 31, 2005 is a self-imposed reporting time frame. And so funding for us is almost set through that time period. We have, however, bringing that up, these prepared by Scott Cave and with myself. Every year about this time we make a federal request, and the federal request by logic needs to come from the county commissions. They're the lead agencies. So this is a federal request for $1.5 million. And going in, it does mention water quantity to allow some flexibility in that arena.
I move for approval of the letter.
That
And I
would,
just want to make
that would be what we're here for.
Wait a minute, we need to, is there a second?
I'm asking a question.
Well, you second the motion, then you can ask.
I'll second the motion.
Okay.
And now under discussion, I would like to.
Because there's two letters there, I need to know who this is going to so that I know which one you're talking about.
The first letter is a sample letter for people requesting.
That one I have.
Okay.
That one I have.
And the next one is sent to Senator Rick Canfield.
No, actually, there's, I think, 11 letters.
It's CC'd on the back of it.
Well, I think there's separate. She's asking for you to sign this entire pile,
Okay.
and they go to all of the legislators in this
And
pile.
the senators.
The motion included that.
Yeah, all of these different ones.
But my only comment on the letter was, I thought it was very inclusive. I thought it was too long.
Well, I haven't seen it, and I'm not going to sign it until I get to read it and,
Digest it.
yes, research it. No, I'm just joking. I just want to ask, what year is that?
That's 05. It'd be for the budget process that's being prepared right now. That would start, be passed and start October 1 of 04 and go through up September 30th of 05. Request is for $1.5 million. We have been struggling with this source of funding in the last couple, 3 years. The Iraq War and all that kind of stuff. And yet last year we did put a little pressure on them and did get $700,000 through that process, which was very functional, very useful. And which is interesting, we had Senate had $200,000 and the House had $500,000.
No, so they gave us
either way.
Well, they gave us both.
They gave us both because we put so much pressure on them. I'm not sure. I've never heard of that working like that before, but
that's good.
And so our attempt is going to be to get these signed today and tomorrow. Rudy and Leroy will be there tomorrow night, and to get some support letters from throughout the counties, city councils, and commissions, etc. in the next 10 days.
This was a very inclusive letter, and I want to just comment further. And I was visiting with Scott. He said, perhaps if you made the letter shorter and put attachments to it, because when you get this much, it's hard to get people to read it.
However, you will notice that I did tell him that you in the first paragraph, you will put what we want. So right in the very first paragraph, at the heading, it says what we want, and then there's the extra side.
Yeah.
I told Scott, I says, nobody's going to go past the first paragraph, except the staff person that works for low wages.
Okay, do you want everybody's name that we're writing
It's
this?
fine. I just needed to be able to identify it.
Because it's Cantwell, Larson, Smith, Dix, Brian Baird,
But just the chairman's signature on that.
Jay Inslee. George Nethercutt, Richard Hastings, Addie Murray, Michael Simpson,
I don't know, somebody, Scott.
James T. Walsh.
Oh, I know. Those are
Jim
the
McDermott.
those are the congressmen who are in charge, who are the chairs of the committees in the Senate and the House who are over this. That's who that is.
All
It's
right.
who never got requests we send the letters to.
Okay.
We haven't voted on it yet.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 So it's that's who those are. The legislative senators are in charge of the committees. And okay, that's nothing.
Well, this is going very well for.
I don't know if you were aware of the McDonough survey in September. I don't know if Frank told you the details. I like to tell you
He
this.
Frank doesn't tell us anything.
That's why I'm telling this. But we do this survey every 2 years on the telephone survey of the public, how good we're doing. And they came and reported, and the thing that's most important about that is he reported to us that there's an index where they compare the good comments versus the bad ones. And generally, he picked on county commissioners. I don't know why, but he said he does it for county commissioners, and he said that generally if they have a positive rating of like 1.1 to 1, that's a good thing. There's more people for you than against you. And he said he's never actually done a governmental group that's been more than 3.5 to 1, 3.5 positive to 1. But the Guamas is 8.5 to 1.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's
So you're doing good there.
highly of
No, you are.
you guys.
Well, you've got to remember, we don't have any regulatory effect, so it's pretty easy to be the good guy.
Well,
As long as we stay that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Well,
so we can
and
start
then-
using our documentation.
and then how are the committees? Are they waning or are they still
Yes.
pretty positive?
Well, the committees are like any normal group. If there's an issue, they come together. If there isn't, they don't want to come because there's no. And right now, we don't have any big issues. A year ago, on the pesticide issue, we brought together the Ag Committee, and we had a big response related to that. We've been talking about reinvigorating the irrigated and Ag Committee because of how to proceed with the IWM scenario. But outside of that, the committees, we didn't even hold an annual. We generally invite all the committee members to an annual meeting in February.
But we didn't have too big a turnout last time, if I recall.
We didn't, and the reason is because we had no issues. You know, without any controversial issues, the people don't take time out of their day to come. And the other thing is that we have spent so much time in publicity, letting people know what we're doing, that everybody seems
They don't need to come to the meeting to find out.
And so we're finding that with the McDonough survey, it tells us where we need to spend our time and energy in communicating with people, and that's why we do it. And so the 8.5 to 1 indicates that we're making those contacts, we're doing this publicity, we're letting every people know what we're doing, and so therefore people don't come to meetings if there's no controversy. So that's the answer I would give you. If we had a controversy, they'd be there in a flash.
Isn't that so true?
Oh, absolutely. We just finished our.
She made a copy for the record, so that needs to go in your
This
original.
is another original.
That was
Yeah, this
Maria's.
needs to go in here. But no, we just finished our cost share sign up, so we had like 120 growers come in, signed up 800 fields. I mean, so the response is
In Franklin
County alone.
Yeah, but you have a good relationship, the conservation district with the farmers, and so that makes a difference.
That
too.
helps. But just the programs are.
Well, they're aware on this IWM.
Yes, they are
They know what
aware
you're
now.
talking about now.
Yes.
I'd like to sit here for hours and tell you all the cool stuff that's going on, but we don't have the time. But there is one thing I'd like to mention that's happening right now that's really sort of important down the road, and that is, I got us into a little thing here the other day, right?
Us.
Yeah. Okay, you, whatever. Anyway, to make it really simple, when you do IWM, you save water. Okay? About 1/2 foot an acre per year.
This does concern me a little bit. On these
Yeah,
figures.
yeah, I'm scaring Frank to death now. But the point is that the water is in the project, and what happens is when you save 1/2 foot of water, you don't order it. As you well know, you don't order it. And so what happens to it? It stays in the river. It stays in Lake Roosevelt. So then what happens to it? Well, basically, it's available to create power. And so BPA, who has become aware of this situation, has initiated $180,000 to pay for a study to measure basically or to ascertain that that's true. And we maintain it's about a 15% savings, which is about half the per year. And they've already generally agreed that 12.7 is no 7% savings is a gimme. But they want to put some numbers to it. So we met a week ago with their consultant out of Portland, with Fred Ziari, the IWM guru down in Milton Freewater, and Hermiston. And we made an offer as the Guama to basically be the arms and legs for that study in the Franklin-Grant County area. And based on the board's approval tomorrow night, I signed this memo of agreement of what we would do. And this is the email back this morning. Thank you from the consultant that's doing the work, because we listened to him and he absolutely couldn't do it. He's an economics professor. He has no idea what to do. Anyway, he did his phase 1 study with a telephone survey of the 4 northwestern states a year ago. We reviewed it and we went, really? And this is a very important issue, because if we can quantify a 15% savings in a report that's official, that's officially sanctioned by BPA, then what that means is to the growers here in the Free County area, my guess is annually somewhere around, depends upon the market of power, but somewhere around $30-40 million a year if everybody did IWM power generation. They'll deny that, of course, but their numbers say that every acre-foot of water has the potential of producing 1,600 kilowatts of hours of energy from Lake Roosevelt on down. And the idea for this is look, BPA, if you want the water, you're going to use it anyway. Pay the growers to do IWM. They'll do IWM. The water stays in the river. You got the water. Now, that's a rough generalization of a real complex argument. I actually had a discussion with Dick Erickson yesterday, and the bill that they pushed, called the Odessa Subaquifers bill, last week through the legislature, had 2 aspects to it. One was that if you got river water, you got to keep your water right, which that's interesting. The second one is that they gave the irrigation districts the authority to contract the saved water. That means when you line the canals and you save, they had 17,000 acre-feet of water that they had saved in that capacity, that they could contract it out to the new land out here in the East High. But in comparison, you have to realize that the savings of water we suggest that will occur in IWM is closer to 300,000 to 400,000 acre-feet of water. So it's a big deal.
The only way, I do have some concerns on that, I really do.
Yeah.
If they start using this somehow in regulatory methods, and in effect impacts what we're getting in the Columbia Basin.
That's a sentiment that's echoed by everybody involved, and yet there's so much money involved in this process that you really can't ignore it. You just have to fight through the issues and figure out a way to protect that water right. The other issue, of course, is with situations like Black Rock and et cetera, we face the parameters of possibly losing that anyway. So we have a real dilemma on our hands right now.
But when I remember Jim yesterday speaking over here in Kennewick and saying that the state's taking a different view on water, that it's not a water right, but that it's a contract with the state. Remember that conversation?
And that is true. That's how Washington Water is.
That's correct.
But that hasn't always been that way, though. It used to be first in time, first in right.
It still is first in time, first in right for your contract. Correct. And trust me, water law in the state of Washington is sort of a fluid thing. I mean,
that's scary.
The viewpoint that's taken one year isn't necessarily the viewpoint that's endorsed the next year. And so I wouldn't say that water rights as a property right has died in the state of Washington, because DOE speaks out of both sides of their mouth. On one hand, they say if you're not using it for the permitted use, say agriculture, then you have to give us the permit back. But on the other hand, they do deals all the time by buying and selling the property right of a water right. So you can't have it both ways, and our laws haven't come up to deal with this. So the DOE buys and sells water rights on one hand and treats it as a property right, but on the other hand, they maintain the viewpoint you're referring to. So it's conundrum that's a difficult problem.
It is a concern to me personally. I think anybody's irrigated farm, it has to be a concern to them, this water right. They bought water rights to the Walla Walla River this last year. I still don't understand how they're doing that because I saw some of that land lay fallow. And then it was irrigated before the season was over. And this was on Pierce's place, you know, going up, that's on the north side of the road on 12.
Sometimes they'll buy it, you know, for
During the season at a certain time.
during the low flow.
Right.
Maybe they just bought it for that period.
Right, and then they'll let you irrigate it up in the fall.
Early,
Because they
late.
came back and irrigated in the fall on that.
Yeah, early, late watering.
Yeah.
Correct. There's all
Great if
kinds
you
of
can
deals
get it.
getting struck out here. And I'll tell you, all kinds of deals.
Oh, yeah.
We can
and-
spend days.
Oh, they're paying so much for
Guys,
water
thanks.
for fish.
Thank you for coming in.
I try to
Thank
get
you
you
for
all.
all your hard work.
Nice seeing you again.
We try to get you in as much trouble as we can.
Yes.
Keep us out of trouble, Paul.
We have so far.
We have some.
All right. Well, they can come in while Fred's over here.
I have an executive session, so why don't we do that first?
Yeah, and then we
Okay.
can let him come in.
Probably 10 minutes.
Well, why don't we go over to your office? Oh, we can't because of Mary. Well, we could go over to your office.
Well, let's just
or
quickly do
executive
it and then
session.
she'll, let's
Yeah,
just quickly
10
do
minutes,
it.
then we go minutes.
Then she
Okay,
can come in.
Wait,
The Weight Watcher lady.
Regarding,
Executive session for 10 minutes.
regarding.
Well, I got 4 issues, so I guess we're going to open the door and close it quite a few times.
Or
Personnel.
stay.
Let's state them.
It's personnel, contracts, and contracts.
Okay? And we'll be in executive. Yeah.
Well, I'll call Kim Clashett and tell him to proceed.
But
All right.
tell him that I don't like it.
I will make sure I pass that on to him.
I don't think any of it would.
All right. The next one is I'm requesting that you award the bid for the moving services to Beacon. Now, before we go to that, I want to give you an explanation on the auditor's furniture. I had gone over and spoke with our auditor, Zona, and she had given me the cost for moving her furniture from. What's in here? I just looked at it a few minutes ago. For that special furniture that she has, she had received a bid from CDA, and that price with tax is $4,472.79. I went to Beacon. I had them cut
Sorry.
it.
Hey, I work around you.
I had them cut out the auditor's furniture and give me a individual bid on that, and that bid is $840 to do the same thing. Now, I called her back up today to talk to her about the $840 versus the $4,400, and said that, and originally we had had a discussion, and she was concerned about dealing with that furniture, and she says, yeah, but we can handle that. We can do that. It's not even a problem. She says, normally we don't do that, but we can take care of it. And I said, now, the $840 is specifically just for the auditor's furniture, and she said, yeah, that'll take care of all of it. So,
But one item you mentioned too, Fred, was that the other out there wasn't going to do with the boxes and all the other.
no, this is just
just
the
furniture.
furniture.
Just the furniture.
Yeah, the other one, is not going to take care of the boxes, and the $840 isn't the boxes and all
No,
that
it's,
sort
I
of stuff.
understand that.
So the difference between $840 and the $4,400, and with Beacon's as being a moving company, I would recommend that we take Beacon.
I move
Yes.
we approve Beacon's move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Beacon's bid, for the record, is $27,701.44, and that includes a 4% margin either way. 'Cause everything's based off of weight.
And also insurance for public.
Yes.
So she would be covered under their insurance policy if they damaged anything. So I think that protects us.
Yeah. Well, I did go up and talk to Steve Lowe about the insurances, and he said he gave me the direction. So
Okay.
here, I didn't have more than just one letter here. I only have one letter.
For
I
what?
don't know why that is. See, me recommending that Beacons.
Just wait. Letter
It's a
copy.
letter instead of a resolution, so that's okay.
Okay. I was just going to have her copy it so it would be original.
Well, I'm going to have to put this together in a Public Works contract. So once I do that, I'll bring it back down to resolutions and the contracts on that. This is just approving the amendment.
All right. So then, what's our next thing?
Amendment number 3 for CKJT Architects. This is in regards to the acoustical system for the courtrooms. The original acoustical engineer, when he had given the estimates to Brian as far as his work, only included the one courtroom, the old courtroom, but to add on the second courtroom and the commissioner's meeting room, his fees increased by the $20,746 to do that. There's a breakdown in your package as to what the costs are. There's, B&O Tech.
8.
Page 8.
Is that mechanical noise control? Is that what we're talking about?
Physical engineering, please.
I see that mechanical noise control that you have in there, and I can't really answer that question. There's
Oh, it's the
mechanical
whole
noise
thing.
control through the whole
Sound
thing.
system. Oh, okay. Okay.
So basically, that increases the contract through to CKJT by $20,746.
Okay, do you want a motion on that?
Yeah, I need to have signatures on that for approving the increase to the contract.
I move the approval.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you want to make copies of this? This is an addendum to the contract?
You've got 4 of them.
Yeah, I've got plenty of them, and there's also a resolution in there too.
I'll assign it, resolution 96, 2004-96.
Okay.
Your signature, everybody's signature.
No, just mine. Oh, sorry about that.
Everybody's.
Where's the rest of the resolution?
You have the back pages, and then the front pages are behind that.
I'm falling asleep, and I don't know why you're really not that uninteresting, Fred. In fact, I find all of this quite exciting.
L&I training. We had the L&I training out at the track facility a week or so ago. The question is where would you like to take the funds out of that? To pay for it?
L&I.
I thought that's where you wanted to go, but I knew if I said take it out of L&I, there could have been a change. So I thought I'd just ask ahead of time.
You've been working too hard, Fred.
Okay. And the rest of it's just general information on budgets. So.
I've got an issue while you're walking. I need to get an answer. Terrence is asking us about this room here. He's planning on putting in a special mechanism up the ceiling It's motorized to lower down a multimedia projector.
Actually,
And keep it
yeah.
mounted full time. I'm not sure it warrants the expense of keeping a dedicated projector up there all the time for the few times a year we use it.
We give the
We use it
demonstration in
more
there so I
often.
can see it.
Well,
It's
we
this
might
thing
do
that-
it. We might do it more if it's available.
And that's all I'm asking. He wants information from us, and so if you guys feel it warrants it, then we'll work with him on getting that drop down.
No, the way I understand it, Kevin, is that the drop down will be against this wall over here, and then the projector will be move out, roll out. I think he's talking about permanently fixed station.
He's talking about a motorized little platform that tucks up into the ceiling. When you want to use the projector, you push a button, and it kind of scissors down. And it was motorized, wasn't it?
Yes.
It's a motorized thing that drops the projector down out of the ceiling, and then that's a separate issue from the screen. The screen would then, I'm assuming, something motorized. So anyway, I'm just asking, do we feel it's warranting of that kind of expense? A projector, that's not that big a deal. You get a projector for probably $1,000, $1,500. The few times a year that we use it, does it warrant keeping one full time up there, or do you want to just keep a separate one on a
I
roll
thought
around
it was
car?
just a screen,
I
and
think
we
it-
put the projector.
For me personally, I would think if we can do it that way, it'd be better. Where are we going to store it anyway?
That's up to you guys.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I
And
just,
then the wear and tear on it by moving it around.
well, we would still need another projector probably eventually for the people who take them off site to different things. But
Well, don't
we're
you
talking a
have
couple
one
years down
now?
the road. Yeah, but it's getting old. It's getting old, and it's not going to last forever. I'm just saying, in a couple of years when we move back, we might have to deal with that issue. And now
Well, the
we're-
planning commission would use it in here too. So.
Well, I
Yeah.
have
That's
it
fine.
strong
If they
feelings
warrant it, that's
one way or
great.
another.
We'll get information to them. If it's not, then we won't waste the time. Okay.
Yeah, we'll wait for you.
That's all I have, unless you have something for me.
To deal with these problems, would you?
Do everything I can.
I move approval of the minutes for February 4th, for February 9th, and for February 11th.
All second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have one more thing I have to ask. What are we going to do about the carpet that's down at the? That has not been formally decided by the board.
I move that I make a motion that we keep the existing garbage.
I'll second the motion because I went down and looked at it, and I think it looks pretty good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Now that lady is here with jails, and we can start you down operation.
You know you
I'll check
can't.
'em.
We can't. We have not paid, and we cannot use those
She'll
stairs.
give you one free way.
No,
I
sure. Well, I don't have a problem with it at all, but I've never lied about my age or my weight. I'd
Ray,
like
I
to.
need to put you on speakerphone, so just a minute, please. Okay, you're on speakerphone.
Hi,
Hi, Ray.
I just was going through the packets one last time to make sure I had all the information, and I came across in the packet from Continental Flooring Company, the Yulia Vale people.
Uh-huh.
There was a bid that was responsive. It was for the Portaflor product, and that bid was at $79,856.
So it was a high bid then.
It was the very high bid, yes.
Okay, so we're all right by the one we picked.
Yes, we are, but I think it should be duly recorded that there was a second proposal submitted by Continental Flooring Company, and its amount was $79,856, and that included delivery.
We're covered then, Ray.
Yeah, but it was they did quote the Portaflor. That did meet the specifications.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Ray.
Bye.
I was not in the room when Ray came back. Could you put on the record that you did approve a bid?
We awarded the bid with the caveat that the prosecutor would approve, and he came back and the prosecutor was satisfied with the bid process. Approval.
Anything else?
I have something after your return.
Mary.
After we're adjourned? Are we
Mary.
adjourned?
You want to include October or January 29th?
But not before we adjourn.
Yes, before we adjourn.
It's in,
Pardon?
or is that
Is
night?
January 29th's minute, is that part of your motion?
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
Is that it then, the
Yes.
January 29th minutes?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Is that it?